Well, today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. We want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for their generous donation of all this black cow manure that we're using in our video today. Thank you for sponsoring our channel. Well, good morning, Homestead family. Today we're going to be growing some dragon tongue beans together. We'll be right back after the break. Well, welcome back, friends. You know, a lot of our subscribers have been asking, hey, have you ever grown the dragon's tongue bean? And I kept hearing about it, and I said, well, you know, I haven't. And I have seen it before in the Baker Creek catalog, but I just never grew it, just never got around to it. But we have had several inquiries about that. So I showed this bean to Nancy, and I said, look at this bean. Do you like this bean? You think this might be something you want to do some canning with? And she goes, absolutely. You better get 2 packs of that. So we did. We got 2 packs of dragon tongue bean from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. If you've never been to the Baker Creek website, go check them out. They got a lot of really cool beans and plants and things that you can grow in your garden. They're very interesting. A lot of rare seeds as well, and they're great people to work with. If you ever have a question, give them a call or shoot them an email, and they'll help you right out. But today we're going to be putting these dragon tongue bean in the earth bed as a direct sow. And these beans are bush beans, so we don't need to put in a trellis or anything like that. These plants will only get, you know, 12, 18 inches tall. They bush out and they give you multiple harvests. So you can harvest the first time, let them keep growing, harvest again, let them keep growing. As long as they're putting on blooms, they're gonna keep on putting on beans. They're prolific producers. So anyway, we're gonna put in 2 rows of this, and I'm going to go over to the earth bed. The first thing I'm going to have to do is cultivate in the earth, where I have amended it with about 4-inch layer of black cow manure. I'll cultivate that in, grade it out, try to get any of the little weeds that are growing in the area, get that kind of cleaned out a little bit. Then I'll put my guide string down, and I'll go down my guide string with this 2x2. I like to poke holes down the row at about 8 inches apart. You can plant these closer if you want, but I usually go about 8 inches. And I put my rows 36 inches apart. Once I have my holes in my row, I'll use my super duper seed dropper. Y'all have all seen this by now. There's a video on our channel if you'd like to go look at this. And that's what I'll be using today to put the seeds in the hole that I make with this 2x2. So I'll have the hole without having to bend over. I can put the seeds in my bucket. I can take a seed, drop it in the top of the pipe, put the bottom of the pipe in the little tiny indentation I made with my stick, and I never have to bend over, which saves my back. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm going to be amending this soil today with a 10-10 fertilizer. It's just a balanced 10-10-10. Beans need a lot of nitrogen, and I don't want to give it a whole lot of blood meal because it's pretty expensive with the prices nowadays. So I got some 10-10 back before the price went up ridiculously high. So I've got the 10-10, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right down the row, and I'll cultivate that in with the cow and the soil, and then I'll plant the bean seeds on top of that. And then about a few weeks, when these seeds pop up, I'll come back later when they're about 8-10 inches tall, and I'll go down both sides of the row. I will amend it again with a little bit of fertilizer, side dress it, and I will hill up the row, hill up the beans, and to give it a little support, because these beans will tend to get top heavy when they get heavily laden with fruit and a lot of heavy rain or a heavy wind combined with a lot of beans hanging on there, they'll fall over in the dirt. And I don't like my beans to get in the dirt because it just makes it that much harder to have to clean them up and get that grit off of them. So if I heal the bean heel up, if I heal it, then it gives it plenty of good support, and it greatly reduces my beans falling over. And we'll go through that all the way through, because this is a seed to harvest video. We'll watch it all the way through, and we'll go through all the steps along the way that it takes to make this a successful planting. And at the end, we'll do a taste test, because I haven't ever ate these, and neither has Nancy. So we'll get some of these in the kitchen, and Nancy will get, I'm sure, a wonderful little meal with this. And she can also do some canning so we can enjoy these the whole year. So let's head on over to the earth bed, and we'll get started on getting our dragon tongue beans off and running. Well, there we go. 2 rows of the dragon tongue installed. So what I got to do now is get these watered in and keep them moist, keep that soil moist for the next 10 to 14 days. You don't want that to dry out so that you'll get a good germination rate. And after these plants get on up, then we'll cut that watering back. In my area, zone 9A with sandy Florida soil, we're going to cut it back to about every 7 to 10 days. If it looks like the plant needs a little more, then I'll increase that. Just kind of play it by ear when we get to that point. But anyway, I'm going to get this watered in, and then we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll watch this all the way out until we get to harvest it and take a taste test. We'll be back soon. Well, welcome back, friends. It's been 10 days since we planted our dragon tongue beans out in the earth bed, and as you can see, this row and this row, the 2 rows, have germinated and emerged. I've got true leaves on every single seedling, so they are off and running. So we'll keep our eyes on this in the days ahead as they continue to mature, and we'll watch these all the way to harvest. We'll be back soon. Well, welcome back, Homestead family. Our dragon tongue beans are finally starting to show some real progress. We planted these 17 days ago by direct sow, and the last time we talked, they had emerged with a great germination rate, and they only had 2 true leaves on them. Since that time, they have grown up about 8 or 10 inches tall, and they've got 6 or 8, 10 true leaves on them. And when I see those true leaves up at a plant that's about 8 inches tall for these beans, it's time for me to give them some love. And in so doing, I'm going to have to heal them and also give them a little bit of fertilizer. Today I'm going to use a 10-10 fertilizer, balanced fertilizer, because I don't want a high nitrogen fertilizer, which will cause the beans to produce heavily on the foliage and not so much on the blooms. And we don't want that. If you don't get the blooms, then you're not going to get the beans. So we want to keep the fertilizer balanced, 10-10-10, and that will make an overall healthy plant and produce lots of blooms and give lots of fruit for Miss Nancy to can up for me, and we can enjoy them all year. So the healing part is after I get the fertilizer down, I'll turn it in with the cultivator about 4 inches deep, and I'll heal it up with my hard tooth rake. I'll heal up both sides of the bean row and keeping that bean in there nice and vertical. The reason I do that is when these beans get to growing and they start putting on fruit, they're going to get heavy on the top heavy with heavily laden with beans, and in a rainstorm or some wind, and the weight of all those beans on there is going to lay it right over and go right in the dirt. And when those beans lay down into that dirt, it draws in slugs. They eat little holes in your beans, or the tip of the bean hits in and stops it from going down, and it starts to rot from the tip up, you know, or it lays all the way over and it's just full of sand. And then when me and Nancy go out and harvest them, it's very difficult to clean all that grit off of those beans, and it just makes the whole job miserable. So by spending a little bit of time today and healing them up, that'll hold that bean plant true. And when it starts to get heavily laden with fruit, it'll help support it and greatly reduce that fall over in the days ahead. So it's worth the investment today. So let's get started on getting this task done. Well, we got her done. 2 rows of the dragon tongue beans have been side dressed for fertilizer and healed up. So these guys should really start to show some improvement over the next couple of weeks or so. So we'll keep our eye on them, keep them watered. And one thing I wanted to point out, that as the spring temperatures start to warm up, these weed seeds that's in this garden bed are going to germinate and emerge. And so I want to stay on top of that weed pressure by cultivating in between each row with my little 4-inch cultivator. I do that about every 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks is about all I need, and it don't take that long. So I go in between each row and keep it cultivated, keep that weed pressure off of them, so they don't have to compete with weeds to try to get some nutrients into the plant. So we'll be back in the days ahead. We'll continue to watch the progress of these beautiful dragon tongue beans all the way up to harvest. See you soon. Well, good morning, friends. Welcome back. It's been 5 weeks since we planted our dragon tongue beans together. Been 3 weeks since our last update. And as you can see, these 2 rows of dragon tongue have really got some traction and looking really pretty good. We had a real rough thunderstorm come through here a couple of nights ago, very high winds and really heavy rains. It knocked some of the plants around. Thankfully, we had them healed up, and the heels kept them protected for the most part. I'd say we're 90% still intact here, even through that severe storm. So there's some of the plants that are laying over, and they're probably not going to make it, but the other ones are still doing great. They're starting to get some height on them now. If you look up close, you can see actually a lot of them are starting to put on the little blooms. So once you see the blooms, you know it ain't gonna be too much longer. You're gonna have the beans. So we're happy about that. Do remember, these beans are bush beans. They don't require a trellis. So when you're growing these for the first time and you see these long runners come up, don't panic and think that, oh my gosh, I should have put in a trellis, because you don't need them. They're just bush beans, and those long runners are, that's just normal to the growth of the plant. So we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll watch this as they continue to grow, and we get some dragon tongue beans. We'll see you soon. Well, good morning, friends. Our dragon tongue beans right here, these 2 rows have been growing for right at about 8 weeks. And these guys are putting on plenty of beans. They are ready to harvest. So I'm going to get with Miss Nancy maybe tomorrow sometime. She's pretty busy today, but we'll get together with her maybe tomorrow, and we'll come out here and we'll harvest some of these beans and go in the house and do a little cook up on them and do a taste test. But for today, I just wanted I picked 3 of these beans, or let me get another one right here. I just wanted to show you these beans up close because they're right pretty. Let me see if you can see this, but boy, is that pretty. It's got kind of a cream color bean pod with some purple mixed all through it. I mean, it is really a beautiful abstract looking design on there, which I find to be very interesting. So we'll be back maybe tomorrow, and we'll pick some of these beans and go in the house and cook them up and see how they lay on your tongue. So we'll be back tomorrow. Well, good morning, friends. Well, yesterday I said we'd be out here doing some bean picking today, and here we are. we got up bright and early to try to take advantage of the cool morning temperatures before it gets so hot. So me and Nancy are going to harvest these 2 rows today. This is our first picking. If you pick these beans off the bush, they will continue to produce and grow more beans. Or you can just harvest the whole row at one time and put them in cans and can it up. And it all depends on how much of this you want to continue to grow and how much yield you're really looking for out of your beans. But this is a beautiful flat bean. I know a lot of people are going to say, hey man, does it hold that color after you cook it? Unfortunately, no. That purple, beautiful purple color that's in it, it will disappear when you cook it, but it's really cool looking and fun to grow. Actually, you could actually eat this raw in a salad if you want to, and you could capture that beautiful color in your salad presentation if you want to do that. Me and Nancy are going to go ahead and get these up today and get them over into the harvest area, and we're going to go in the house, and Nancy's going to cook up something real good for lunch, and we're going to taste these things together. And I thought you'd like to join us, so let me and Nancy get to busy. We got a lot of work to do today. Get these beans up and get them over to the harvest area and get them cleaned up, and we'll take another look at them over there, and then we'll go in. Nancy will get on the kitchen lunch menu as dragon beans. So let's get started. Well, there we go.
Wow, you did a great job, Anson. This is the most biggest harvest of beans that we ever had. I'm gonna have fun pickling them.
Yeah, well, this is the first of many. But this dragon tongue bean, it's a gorgeous bean.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I love that.
I know it's
Beautiful flat bean.
Yeah. What little boy can't resist a dragon's tongue?
No little boy can resist that. So we got plenty to last us for a long time. I can't wait to see how these things taste in the house.
Oh yeah.
You about ready to go make some pork chops? And
Oh right. Yep.
make
I
some
am.
pork chops and see how these taste on our tongue.
Oh yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed this journey of growing these dragon tongue beans together. We had a blast growing them. I hope you had a little bit of peace and joy to your day tagging along with us on this journey. So come on and tag along with us in the house and let's see how these things taste. I've been looking forward to those dragon tongue beans, hadn't you?
Oh yes, it's gonna be delicious.
Well, you've sure made a pretty meal, so let's thank the Lord where all this really came from, and I want to do a taste test.
All right.
Gracious Lord, we give you thanks for these and all other blessings. Bless this food to the nourishment of our body and our body into your service. Please forgive us of our many sins. We humbly beg for Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me reach across here. I know you're going to want a pork chop. I love pork chops. Okay. Here's just some beans.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. You want some potatoes?
Mm-hmm. Homegrown potatoes. Homegrown everything but the pork chop.
This is like Adirondack Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's some nice eating right there.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of squash.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, baby. You've
I
outdone
know.
yourself today.
I know. It's awesome.
Okay, I can't wait. You want to touch one at the same time?
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see what we got here on
Yep.
these things.
Very simple.
Ready, set, go.
Mm. Mm.
Very juicy.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a good taste.
They have a great taste, and it doesn't take much. It's very simple. Just salt and pepper, a little bit of oil and butter. Let it just cook down in its own juice.
Just stir fried it.
Yeah, just cook it on juice and have it, for a while. That is good.
That is a good flat bean right there.
Mm-hmm. This is so good.
I thought they were Adirondack Blues or Adirondack Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I love them things.
I just put some almond flour on it, the pork chops, and air fried it. So it should be really good. Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
You've outdone yourself, baby.
I'm glad you love it.
I'm glad I keep getting hungry every day. Ooh, just some good tomatoes this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.